Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi fellas, we are from English Literature, Jenderal Sudirman University. And this is one of the assignments given by our lecturers, Children Literature 2020. Here we will share the definition of children's literature. Have you ever heard of or were familiar with children's literature? Then, what exactly is children's literature? To make it easier, let's define the words children and literature. First, we have to understand what literature and text are. From the book An Introduction to Literary Studies by Clarem M. Routledge, 2013, etymologically, the Latin word literatura comes from the word litera, or letter, which is the smallest element in writing the alphabet. The word text is related to textile and can be translated as fabric. Just as single threads form a fabric, so words and sentences form a meaningful and coherent text. And one definition of literature requires that the work be of good quality. Hillman, 2002. Hillman also describes some signs of poor quality stodgy writing with plots that are too predictable, too illogical, or too didactic. Then, at what age are people categorized as children? According to Introduction to the World of Children's Literature book, people are said to be children from birth through age 13, since according to it, at the age of 13 to 18 or at junior to high school, students didn't claim to be children anymore. So what's actually the children's literature is? Children's literature is good quality thread books for children from birth to adolescence up to age 13, covering topics of relevance and interest to children of those age, through prose and poetry, fiction and non-fiction.
It tells the all book written for children to be literature, excluding works such as joke books, cartoon books, and non-fiction works that are not intended to be read from front to back, such as dictionaries, encyclopedias, and other reference material.
So, the next definition is coming from Peter Hunt. So, back in the days, in medieval and Renaissance Britain, children were provided with a range of reading material and books produced primarily just for older readers that they were permitted to read, as well as text design especially for them. But should we consider this children literature? The critic Peter Hunt, arguing vociferously that children's literature is properly comprised only of texts that were written expressly for children who are recognizably children, with a childhood recognizable today. Books of no interest to the current librarian or child, even if they were actually written for children once, are not rightly part of our subject, and ought to be the preserve of historians and bibliographers. Regardless of the other critics responded, Hunt's argument is logic. Yes, because notions of childhood have altered over time, so the purposes and practices of children's literature will have changed as well. A school story published in this century will totally different than a school story written in the 16th century, right? But even though it's quite different, the producer usually will inherit traditions and expectations from a long succession of previous practitioners. For example, J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter novel. So, after reading the definitions by the experts, we conclude that children's literature is a reading material intended to be read primarily for children, which contains of moral value and educational messages to form a good child mindset. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. We are from group 4. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.